Welcome back to AxeWrapz.com. In this video, we're going to show you how to prep your case prior to installing your new graphics. So if you're like me, you may have a case that's really old, seen a lot of travel, has a few stickers on it, and a few tears in the surface. We're going to show you how to remove all your graphics, how to fix those tears, and how to clean your case properly before you start to install your new graphics. First thing we're going to do is show you how to get rid of any other graphics or decals that you may have on your case. So in this instance, you're going to want to use a heat gun or your hair dryer, like I said in the other video. When you're applying heat to the graphic, you want to make sure that you keep moving, because if you hold the heat gun in one spot too long, you're going to scorch the graphic and you're probably going to scorch your case. Once you've heated up a small area, only work at a small area at a time, maybe 6 to 8 inches. Get out your utility knife and pick under the graphic so you can lift the graphic up. Once you've got an area lifted, you can use your fingers to peel the graphic away from the case, just like that. And your graphic or decal, whatever's on there, should come off nice and clean without leaving any residue, or if it does leave any residue, it'll leave minimal residue. Okay, now that we've removed all the graphics and decals you may have had on your case, now if you take a look at these little shiny spots here, those are areas that the adhesive was left behind. So now I'm going to show you how to get rid of that. We're going to use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and your paper towel. So all you need to do is soak your paper towel a little bit with alcohol. You don't want too much because you don't want to totally absorb into the paper towel. So you're going to give it a good rub, and now get rid of the adhesive left behind. You'll be able to feel it underneath your finger when the adhesive is no longer adhesive. And that's all you got to do. Alcohol will dry itself out. Next step we're going to do is clean the entire case. So just like I just did by removing the adhesive, you're going to take isopropyl alcohol and your paper towel, and you're just going to wipe down the entire case. You're going to be able to see where you've wiped and where you haven't. Some cases might be a little more dirty. You might have to go over it 2 or 3 times before you clean it. But this is very important that you clean the entire case prior to installing your graphics. You want to make sure to get in all around your hinges and latches, because any of these areas where you end up cutting the graphic, that's going to be the trouble spot that it's going to start to lift in the beginning. Next step, we're going to show you how to repair any tears in your case that you might have. So you might want to go down and get some glue. Don't use paper glue. Get a good quality glue like Gorilla Glue or Elmer's wood glue, anything like that that needs to set for a good few hours. Okay, I'm going to use my Well Bond because I have it in the shop. All you're going to need to do is peel it back a little bit, apply a very thin coat of glue, push down your tear, Now a little bit of glue is going to come out. That's okay. We can wipe that off and clean the surface again with isopropyl alcohol. So any glue that you got coming up, don't worry about it, it'll come off. Once you have your glue in place, you're going to want to keep some pressure on it so that it adheres properly. So get paper towel or any rag that you don't care if you get glue on, and hold it in place for a couple of minutes. Now that we've fixed all the imperfections, it's time to get your case ready for the graphic install. First, you're going to want to tape all the hardware. This means any area that won't have the graphic on it, such as the hinges, cleats, and the handle. The reason we tape them off is because the graphic film won't stick to the tape, and it makes it easier to install the film around these areas. Try to use one piece of tape per area. This will make it easier to remove after you're done installing the graphic. So right now we're going to work on the top graphic. So we're only going to tape up the top half of the buckles and the top half of the hinges. Just fold the tape over gently. As long as you've got the entire thing covered in tape, that'll do just fine. Now repeat this for each hinge and each latch, both sides of the top of the case. Now you can see we've got all the hardware taped up and you're ready to go. The next step is to wipe down the entire case with isopropyl alcohol. So spray gently onto your paper towel and give it a good cleaning. Make sure to get all around the edges of the hinges and handles and latches, because these are going to be areas that are going to cause you trouble if they're not clean enough when you go to install the graphic. Make sure all the edges are clean. You don't want to leave any dirt or dust or lint behind. Make sure to keep on using 2-3 towels. Once you've finished that, then we'll move on to prepping with the adhesive primer. The next step is to use the adhesive promoter that came with your kit. Hold the capsule between your thumb and finger on the dot and squeeze until you hear it break inside. Just like that. Once you've broken the capsule, shake it down so that it starts to absorb into the applicator tip. Once you see that it's on the tip, you can start going all around the edges of your case, just like that. All you need is one stripe down, and that's enough. Make sure to cover every edge and go around the hinges that you've covered with tape, making sure that you're not getting any on the tape, because that'll just defeat the purpose of us taping these areas off, because the adhesive promoter will end up making the tape tacky and your film will stick to the tape instead of having the tape there so your film won't stick to it. Make sure to get all the way around inside. If you're like me, you want the graphic film to finish the entire surface of the case. If you're not like me, just go around the edge of the case, because that's where you'll end up trimming it off instead of folding the film around. But good rule of thumb is to cover both edges, whether you're going to trim it off there or not. Now you'll only get one use per capsule, and you'll want to make sure that you get all the coverage done at one time, just for the simple fact that when you start applying your graphic film, this capsule will dry out and become useless. If you bought a full wrap package, your kit will come with 2 of these. So you need one for the top of the case, one for the bottom of the case. You don't need to worry about covering this up. If you don't think that you're going to be able to complete the install within an hour and a half, then I suggest taping this up with saran wrap or some other plastic wrap. The reason being is that it'll keep it from drying out, and then you can go back and reapply where you need to. Now it takes about 10 to 15 minutes for it to set. You don't want to close the case onto itself with the wet promoter. So make sure that you hold your case open a little bit. What I like to do is use a block or a box, and that'll do it, right? So when you do the front of the case, the next step would be to do the back of the case. Again, around all the hinges and your cleats, and the edges, just the same way you did the front of the case. Once you've done the outside, you turn around and then do the inside where the graphic is going to be covered. Wrong side. Now you're ready to install your graphic. So during the 10 to 15 minute dry time, you can take that time to start lining up your graphic.